close your eyes. Let the world soften around you. In the quiet of this moment, notice something strange. We live in a world that celebrates noise. Noise of voices, noise of machines, noise of endless notifications. Yet the very thing we run from, the thing we avoid, the thing we think is empty, is the one thing that holds the deepest power. Silence. Silence is not the absence of sound. Silence is the presence of awareness. It is the space where truth whispers. And yet, most of us fill every empty moment with distraction. The car ride is filled with music. The walk is filled with podcasts. The evening is filled with screens. We rarely allow ourselves the chance to be alone with silence. Why? Because silence reveals. It shows us what is hidden beneath the surface. And often, what we discover scares us. But what if you stopped running from it? What if instead of fearing silence, you leaned into it? Think of silence as a mirror. In the noise, you see only reflections of others, their voices, their opinions, their judgments. But in silence, you finally see yourself. That's why silence feels heavy. It carries your truth. When you sit quietly, without distraction, memories arise, emotions surface, thoughts you buried come alive. Many escape that feeling, but the ones who embrace it discover a hidden treasure. Because silence, once faced, becomes your greatest ally. It is in silence that you begin to hear the quiet voice of wisdom within, the voice that says, "This path isn't for you," the voice that whispers, "You are stronger than you think," the voice that gently reminds you, "You already know the answer." In the great stories of history, silence has always been a teacher. The monk sitting alone in meditation, the inventor walking silently through the forest, the leader withdrawing before making a decision. All of them knew that the mind only reveals its deepest clarity when the noise fades. And yet, we often treat silence like a gap that must be filled, instead of a gift to be embraced. Imagine this. Every day, you live with an inner river. That river carries your energy, your creativity, your peace. But the noise of life is like constant mud, stirred into the water. You drink from it and wonder why you feel restless, anxious, and unclear. Silence is the settling of the mud. It is the moment the water clears and you can finally see to the bottom. Only then can you understand what is truly inside you. Think back to the most important decisions of your life. Were they made in chaos or in quiet? Often, the greatest clarity comes not when we are shouting for answers, but when we stop asking and simply listen. Silence is not passive. It is deeply active. It is the act of allowing wisdom to rise instead of forcing it. But silence does something else too. It strengthens you. When you become comfortable with silence, you become unshakable. Why? Because most people panic in quiet. They need noise to feel secure. They need constant distraction to feel alive. But a person who can sit in silence is never alone, never empty. They carry an inner world so rich that they no longer depend on the outer one to feel complete. Silence is not just for clarity, it is for healing. Have you ever noticed how nature heals in silence? The forest does not shout to grow. The stars do not make noise to shine. A seed breaks through the soil without sound. Healing, growth, and transformation often happen quietly, beneath the surface, unseen by others. Your own heart heals the same way. Give it silence, and it repairs. Fill it with noise, and the wounds remain hidden, unattended. There is also another secret. Silence teaches you to listen, not just to yourself, but to others. Most people listen only to reply. They fill conversations with their own thoughts, waiting for their turn to speak. But true listening is silent. When you hold silence while someone speaks, you hear more than their words. You hear their fears, their hopes, their unspoken truth. And in that silence, relationships deepen, love strengthens, trust is built. Now think of how much of your life is lost to meaningless noise. The hours spent scrolling, the endless chatter about things that do not matter, the background hum of distraction. What if you reclaim just a fraction of that time for silence? Imagine sitting quietly each morning, breathing deeply, letting your mind settle. Imagine ending each day not with a flood of stimulation, but with a moment of stillness, where the lessons of the day rise to the surface. How different would you feel? How much more aligned would you be with who you really are? There is a saying, silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. Those answers do not come instantly, and they do not come when demanded. They come gently, when you are ready, when your mind has finally slowed enough to hear them. That is why silence requires patience. It is not an instant message. It is a letter carried by hand, written in wisdom, delivered in its own time. Perhaps the greatest power of silence is this. It connects you to the eternal. Beneath the noise of daily life, beneath the chatter of thoughts, there is a vast stillness. Call it the soul, call it awareness, call it the universe itself. It does not matter the name. In silence, you touch it. In silence, you remember that you are more than your worries, more than your achievements, more than the noise of this temporary world. You are part of something infinite. As you drift tonight, let silence surround you. Let it be not an emptiness, but a presence. Let it heal you, strengthen you, and remind you that you do not always need more answers. You only need more stillness to hear the answers already inside you. So tomorrow, try this. Find one pocket of silence. It could be 5 minutes in the morning, a quiet walk without your phone, a moment of stillness before sleep. Guard that silence like treasure, because it is. With time, those moments will change you. They will make you clearer, calmer, stronger, and more alive. Remember this truth. The world may be noisy, but your soul speaks in whispers, and the only way to hear it is to be silent. Good night. Rest deeply, and let the hidden power of silence guide you toward the life you are meant to live.